spaceship.
Evacuation sequence activated.
Hello and welcome to Basscast 007. I am Evan.
And I am Alex.
Alex, how are you doing? How's your life going? How was your weekend?
My weekend was fantastic. I spent it the weekend with a bunch of my friends. We hung out at this lake cabin. We had a great time. Found out some interesting things about each other, and it was awesome.
Interesting. What interesting things were found out about you?
Well,
or is it too deep to get into?
Well, I wouldn't say it's too deep. It might be embarrassing for me because, and this will also be very cringy probably for you. But yes, Evan, I found out this past weekend that I can twerk.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yep.
I think you're going to need to do that for me and send me a video. Speaking of dancing, guess what kind of dance I can do now that I know you love?
Let's hear it.
The floss.
Shuffle. Oh my goodness, please no.
I can
don't.
floss now.
I hate anything from Fortnite. I want Fortnite to die. I literally want. I hate it so bad. It's so annoying to see a 3-year-old kid in public doing anything from Fortnite, and it ruins my day. It literally does.
Why does it ruin your day though?
It's annoying. It's annoying because I see a kid do it or someone. I hate it. It's so annoying in my opinion. I hate it.
Wow. I mean, I can't kid. I definitely can see how it could be cringy. And you do see the little kids doing the floss and
dumb.
But interesting. So you learned to twerk and I learned to floss. Well, actually, I already knew how to floss. I had learned earlier, but I was gonna save it as a surprise. And next time I see you, I was just gonna instead of come and saying hello, I was just gonna floss.
Ugh, Evan, please don't. I beg of you.
You beg of me.
I beg of you, do not do it.
Okay, so you had you were on a retreat or something?
Yeah, I went on a retreat.
Well, that's fun. So Friday night, I had a little work outing with some people. We went to one of those haunted. It wasn't actually a maze. It was just kind of like a couple of haunted house walkthroughs.
Mm-hmm.
Though, but by the way, like this was not one of the it was professional, but it was not. It was not done by like Universal. Like Universal has the Halloween Horror Nights. This was not that. This was just a kind of a local thing. Still very, very cool though. The best part of the walkthrough was there's this part where you go through. It looks like a swamp, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they have it. They have laser they have like a little laser, not a laser show, but like they have lasers that make it look like you're wading through swampy green waters. And so like you get to this point and you kind of go down a little bit, and then you realize that there's like basically you're walking through like how like the lasers at shows will do like a whole like how like lasers will do lines, or they'll do it where it's like a whole platform.
Yeah, that's what I really like about the lasers. So I think lasers are my favorite stage visual compared to the screen, whatever the visuals on the screen. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yes, go ahead.
Right, yeah. So anyways, this haunted walkthrough had an area where it's got several of those lasers that's like a platform, and it looks like you're walking through the laser. You're walking through the laser, and it looks like you're wading through a green like swamp lake or something. It's really, really cool. The uncool part was they have scarectors as you walk through, and like they jump out and like scare you. And I had a few that were like hiding under the lasers, and they would kind of grab your like ankles as you walked by. So it was kind of like it was a little freaky, but definitely the coolest part of the walkthrough. So did that with a couple of work employees. That was a lot of fun. Then I split up from them and I went to a show. I went and saw a guy named PEEKABOO. So PEEKABOO is I should have looked this up before. You know how there's a subgenre of bass music. It's the type of music that Eprom and Sayer and G Jones and Space Jesus all do. What is that genre called? I
thought you mentioned it in one of our previous episodes called acid bass. So you just wanted to refer to that, or no?
I don't know if that's what it's technically called. I'm trying to look it up real quick. Basically, it was PEEKABOO and a guy named Brightside and a guy named, last episode I said his name was VCTRE. It's actually pronounced Vector, I believe. VCTRE. So I want to apologize for that. And then a local guy by the name of BoHemian. I'm looking on G Jones's SoundCloud. I'm not seeing any like genre names or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it really. It's just like I guess it's just general bass music. It's like acid step. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's if you can picture this in your mind, it's the type of music that Sayer, Eprom, G Jones, Space Jesus, they all do that.
Okay, so I'm looking at PEEKABOO's SoundCloud, and there's one song where he has a collab with G-Rex, and the tag is called Freeform Bass.
Wait.
I don't know if that's...
Is that the Babatune?
Yeah, Babatune, and then he's got it again for some of PEEKABOO's other songs like Motion and Step It Up and Maniac.
Freeform bass?
Yeah. I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
I don't know. I don't know if there's an actual name for it. Maybe we're trying too hard to try to get there to be a name for it. Like maybe there shouldn't be. Maybe there shouldn't be a name for it. Maybe they don't want there to be a name for it. I don't know.
I don't know either.
But if it makes any sense, it's that schlump. I think Boogie T does it too. Eprom, Sayer, that genre. It's like, it's not dubstep. It's too slow to be dubstep. It's just more focused on bass, I would say. So, anyways, the show was, it was PEEKABOO and Brightside and VCTRE and a local guy named BoHemian, sorry. So, this was actually a venue in Orlando that I had never been to. It's called the Hinau Contemporary Center, and it's actually an art gallery. Well, the building is an art gallery. And so, I didn't realize it was an art gallery, but when I learned that, I was thinking, do you remember watching that show or the movie, We Are Your Friends?
I think so.
The one with Zac Efron?
Oh yeah.
So remember, there's like one scene where I think he takes drugs or something, but there's a scene where he's like listening to like there's a DJ playing music in an art gallery. Do you remember that scene? Like it was basically
maybe.
like a little party in a art gallery.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So when I learned that the Hinau Contemporary Center was actually an art gallery, I was kind of hoping that it was going to be like that scene from the movie. It sort of was. So basically, it's a lot bigger venue than you would think if you're just driving by, because it looks like a small building, but it's actually got like 3 different parts to it. They had basically like where you give your ticket. You go right in, and then that right there is like where the big room is for the main stage. And so when I got there, it was that guy BoHemian who was playing, and he plays the same music that's very similar to Sayer, Eprom, G Jones. I would say he played music very similar to what G Jones makes. That was like my first takeaway as far as when I was listening to his music. And so I listened to him for a little bit. It's about maybe like 15, 20 minutes, and then I kind of wandered around. And oh, by the way, I don't know if you want to get into this or not, but this was one takeaway I had. There was no security. No security at this venue. Now, okay, I'm a big guy. Like I'm big and I'm a guy. I did not feel threatened at all. I've never felt threatened at an EDM venue ever. But I will say there was absolutely no security. And I mean, Lord forbid this would ever happen, but it would have been very, very, very easy for someone to just like, brought in a gun or brought in a weapon to this venue. So I feel like it's at least worth mentioning that there was no, like, basically I just walked up, gave them my ticket, they scanned it, and they're like, all right, you're good, and then I walked in. Like, no security at all. And I'm not trying to say, I want a ton of security everywhere. I'm just saying there was none at the beginning, and I never saw any security, like, around the DJ booth or anything like that, like, when they were actually playing. So, again, I don't know if that's worth mentioning or not. It's just something that kind of stood out to me. I mean, I know you and I both feel, well, I do. I feel that security is like, a pretty big issue, or pretty big deal, and should definitely be something that's taken seriously, like, at these venues and concerts. But yeah, it was weird. I couldn't remember. Like, have you ever been to one where there was just no security at all? Any concert?
I mean, not that I can think of. I mean, even when me and my friend went to go see Bear Grylls in Birmingham, I mean, there was at least 5 security guards just around the venue. But I mean, I agree with you. Like every single like event that goes on, whether it's a concert or whatever. Even if it's like a small venue, I mean, there always has to be security just so everything goes, smooth. There's nothing that happens like a fight breaks out or anything like that. So, but yeah, I can't think of any times where there was never any security that was present.
Well,
But,
I mean, I'm not saying I'm not saying that I felt like I needed to have security there. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying I did think it was a little weird that there was no security. So, I don't know if that's worth mentioning or not. The venue is actually kind of cool. So it basically you walk in where you give your ticket. The venue's the main part of the like the open area, the dance floor is right there when you walk in, and they've got a door in the back that leads to another room that's got a bar, and then it's got a little VIP area where where the DJs are at and when they're not playing. You've got the room with the room with the bar and the VIP area. You got another door that leads out to the other side, and there's the place it's got a bunch of vendors outside, and these were like there was a couple. I went and talked to one guy. He was like, I think he was just kind of advertising, like how like Orlando has. Well, I'm sure every area has this, but the different the promoters. Like there was just one guy who was out there promoting for other shows.
oh yeah,
And so he was out there. I was talking to him for a little bit because he noticed my shirt and he was asking me about it. I was wearing my my Nightmare shirt.
okay.
So we were talking about that for a second. And so I was kind of walking around. They had like a couple of art displays outside. Like they had one where it's kind of weird contemporary art. There was one where it's a bunch of TVs that were on like showing static, like stacked on top of each other, and like one was smashed out or something, kind of like weird stuff like that. There was a couple of actually fire dancers outside as well. That was kind of entertaining. But the whole venue is, more, like kind of more of a vibey place as far as the outside goes. So I just kind of hung out outside for a little bit and then went back inside. Bohemian was still playing. He played for about another 15-20 minutes and then he was done. And next was VCTRE. And when VCTRE started, I actually went over and was actually met Bohemian, and I kind of talked to him for a second. He was cool. I actually mentioned that we do a podcast. We might have him on sometime because he was telling me where he's from, and he said he's from the Florida coast, and he's just trying to get his name out there. And so he helped me find him on SoundCloud. So I added him. He's got 600 followers. Or 600 listeners on SoundCloud, so not too bad. And he was telling me that most of his set was original music that he'd come up with. Now I did notice. I think I noticed maybe 2 or 3 songs that he played. I think I recognized, but other than that, it did all sound mostly original. So shout out Bohemian. He's a local guy in Florida, and he does that same type of G. Jones type music, Space Jesus, and there's like the slower bass or freeform bass, if that's what you want to call it. So that was Bohemian, and so like I said, after I talked to him, then I went back into. I actually met him right outside the VIP little area, and I was talking to him there. Then I went back and I listened to VCTRE a little bit more. VCTRE is actually a DJ from Birmingham, which I was curious how he came up with the name VCTRE if he was in Alabama, because that is not an Alabama word, but I definitely don't remember learning that word in Alabama education.
Yeah, no, I don't.
But he was pretty good. He went a little bit harder than Bohemian. By the way, this venue, the way the setup they had the DJ booth in front, obviously, and they had a projector behind the DJ. And they also had one of those LED giant flat screens in front of the DJ table. And so basically the projector and the LED flat screen in front of the desk, in front of the DJ table, were showing basically the same thing. And so they had those 2 screens. They had 2 lasers on either corner above the DJ, and they had a couple of strobe lights. So it's a decent setup. There's only a venue that probably only holds about maybe 400 or 500 people, I'd say. So it's not a huge venue, but it is at least a decent sized venue. Let me see here. So when VCTRE started, the first thing I noticed was his logo. So I just want to say shout out VCTRE's logo, very cool logo, and it looks very similar to the Ruka logo for any of our Ruka fans. And for those of you who don't know what Ruka is, it is the logo that's like a skateboarding, surfing logo that looks like RVCA. Very cool logo.
Hey, Evan.
Yes.
So I'm on VCTRE's SoundCloud, I think. Hold on one second. Hold on. Are you sure it's what is his? Do you know what his SoundCloud is? Is it just VCTRE?
His SoundCloud?
Yeah. What's his sound? Does he go by DJ VCTRE?
It's VCTRE.
VCTRE. Okay.
Aaron Pugh.
Okay. VCTRE.
That's by the way, yeah. For our listeners, it's VCTRE is spelled VCTRE.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, never mind.
Well, did you find someone else?
Yeah. Well, that's not how I spelled it. So I was thinking, oh, Birmingham, and then I see like a couple guys that pop up because I spelled it incorrectly, and I was like, it said United Kingdom, so I was like, oh, I wonder if it's Birmingham, like Birmingham in the UK, but it's no, just forget that.
No. I actually heard him. It's either him or someone that was performing said, all the way from Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay.
And then I think it said the name VCTRE, and I was like, oh crap! I said VCTRE the entire last episode like a dummy.
Yeah, it says Birmingham on his SoundCloud, on his official SoundCloud page. It says Birmingham, U.S.
Yeah.
So
his show was definitely my second favorite show of the night. His set. He played very similar music to, the G. Jones type music. Very, very bassy. They kind of turned up the lasers for his show a little bit more strobes as well. So that was great. And I really enjoy all that, like all that extra, show offy, flashy stuff. I really enjoy that. So VCTRE was second, and he went for about an hour, I would say. So at this point, it was about midnight when he was finished, and then the next guy came on, Brightside. And Brightside was my third favorite of the night, I'd have to say. Brightside was like, if you see Brightside's logo, it looks very, very similar to Space Jesus' logo. And his music, I don't know if it was all original music that he had made, but most of the music that he played during his set sounded very similar to what Space Jesus played at his set. And I have seen Space Jesus live. It's a good show, a very bassy show, but again, it's still slower than dubstep. Like, well, I don't know if it's actually slower than dubstep, if it has technically a slower BPM, but it's just like we went to that one Eprom Sayer show, right? And remember when we left it, we left thinking, like, there's something, it's just like not quite fast enough. Like, dubstep is like a perfect speed, so it's easy to headbang to. And like this type of music, this freeform bass, acid step, whatever you want to call it, it's great music to listen to. But if you're actually going to a concert and planning on dancing a lot, it's just not. If you're planning on headbanging, it's not great headbanging music. Maybe I should say that. Because like you remember when we went to the Eprom show, I mean it was a great show. Eprom, Sayer, and I think a couple of local guys, but we left thinking like it's not fast enough to like headbang to.
Yeah, it's because I mean the I guess what you could call the kick drums, they try to be kind of random or slower, and I mean I like that, but yeah, it's not music that you can headbang to.
It's great music to listen to on your headphones, I think, and it's great music to drive to. But I think as far as a live show, I'd rather have dubstep. I think that's my official statement on that. And by the way, something that really, like, maybe I'm just like, maybe I don't know, maybe I'm just like being picky or something. I noticed a couple of people in the audience during the Brightside concert, like, they would be outside, right? And they'd be outside, like, talking, doing whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they would come in, and they would, like, headbang, like, hard for, like, 2 or 3 songs, and then just stop, and then just, like, stand there and talk. Like, you know, most of the people that are there for the whole show, or there for the whole set, are maybe not headbanging hardcore the entire time, but at least, like, moving around and dancing. Like, there was several people, and again, this, I don't know if this makes me, like, you know, picky, or, you know, makes me sound like I'm trying to, you know, pick out certain people and just kind of hate on them or whatever. But, like, these, like, they would not be there, and then they would come out of nowhere and get right in the middle of the dance floor, and then just, like, go super hard, like, headbang hardcore. And, you know, you got these girls with the long hair that, like, whip their hair around, and, you know, it's getting in everybody's face. And then they would do that for, like, 2 or 3 songs, and then stop and just stand there and talk, and then leave.
Right, yeah.
I mean, have you ever seen that?
I mean, I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it a lot, because I'm usually just trying to focus on, you know, listening to the music and the visuals. But, I mean, I think I have noticed that before, you know, just, like, walking in between sets, like, at a festival or something like that, you know.
Well, I mean, maybe I'm just, like, being a grumpy old man or something, but...
I don't know about that.
But yeah, anyways, I noticed that several times, and I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because maybe it was just because one of the girls' hair got in my face, and I was just like, I was just grumpy. I was in a grumpy mood. It was a Friday. I couldn't have been that grumpy. But anyways, so let's see. That was something else I noticed. I was like, so Brightside went again. Brightside's logo. I don't know, like, I don't know if maybe I'm judging DJs too much on their logos. Like, I'm a big logo guy. I love to look at logos. And I love it when, you know, part of a DJ's show on the visuals is them implementing their logo, you know, in with the visuals. You know how they do that?
Yes, yes.
So I love that. And so, you know, this wasn't the most expensive show ever, but they did have, you know, quite a little bit of visuals on this and throughout the show, and I do like it when they put the DJ logo on there while they're playing. And VCTRE definitely had a better logo than Brightside. Brightside's logo looked very, very similar to Space Jesus. And again, his set sounded very similar to Space Jesus' set, or a set that Space Jesus would play.
Okay.
So that was just something I noticed. He went until 1 o'clock, and then next was PEEKABOO. And mind you, this entire night, I've been listening to, you know, that freeform style bass, right? The slower bass.
Mm-hmm.
PEEKABOO comes out and starts just playing dubstep banger after dubstep banger. It was great. And he had all the lights were strobing. His visuals were great. He's basically, like, have you seen his logo?
Yeah, I just pulled it up.
So his logo is like basically a skull with 2 hands over the eyes, like, you know, PEEKABOO.
Yeah.
And so he's got his logo throughout the entire show is constantly, you know, covering up the eyes and then coming back up and you know, you see, and then it's kind of just pulsating back and forth. But then on top of that, he's also got different, like, different skull videos of, like, you know, lightning coming out of skull eyes, and, you know, obviously it's all to hard dubstep. It's great. I love that. Mm-hmm. That was great. Obviously they turned up the volume for PEEKABOO. He played, I'm trying to think I think he came out, he came out on one of his more popular songs. I forgot which one it was, but it's definitely one that I recognized. And then he played Slather. That's what I was trying to text you at that time. What did you get?
No, you sent me the audio thing, but it just sounded like a very distant, like, gargle, I guess. That's what it sounded like. Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Okay.
I was trying to record him playing Slather,
Okay.
and so I did one of those. Audio. What are those called? Not audio files.
Like
Voice notes.
Yeah, a voice message or whatever.
Yeah, I tried to do one of those voice messages that you can do on iPhones.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, through the text.
I mean, I'll show it to you when I come down there, because what recorded was nothing compared to what Slather sounds like. So
Really?
yeah, I'll show you, or I'll let you listen to it.
Wow. Okay.
Actually, can't you listen back to it or no?
No, I couldn't. That's why
Okay.
I was like, when I get back in the car, I'll have to listen to this.
Okay.
Because I got your text back and you were like, what is that? And I was like, dude, that's Slather.
Yeah, I couldn't make out Slather at all.
Oh man. Okay, so so he dropped Slather. I was expecting him to play Disrupt the System, which is the song that he collabed with Basscast. You like that song?
Yeah, Disrupt the System is a great song.
That's pretty good.
That's a great song. That's pretty good.
I mean, it's pretty good. Is it the best ever? No.
Oh yeah, no, but it's a good song, like off that part of the EP, yeah, or at the album.
So so let's see. So yeah, he played Slather. He played I forgot. I think it was Brightside actually dropped Fabrication by MLK. That is a great song. That is an old song, by the way. It's like a 2009, 2010 song by MLK.
Mm-hmm.
MLK is another great underrated DJ for anyone looking for underrated DJs. MLK is definitely a good one, and MLK's been around for a long time as well. But I think that was Brightside, by the way. But anyway, so PEEKABOO played and I hate to again sound like a grumpy old man, but I did leave early because I had a really full week at work and I was exhausted. And so at 1:45, I was just like, I literally can't do this, because I got only 4 or 5 hours of sleep every night that week, and so I was just completely exhausted. So I left about 1:45, about maybe 3/4 of the way through PEEKABOO's set. And again, there had not been hardly any dubstep played the whole night, and then PEEKABOO comes out and played a lot of dubstep. I'd say about 60-70% of what I heard from PEEKABOO was dubstep, which is great. Because it really, the crowd just, I don't know if it's just that specific crowd that's going to these types of shows, but the crowd seems to get up for dubstep songs.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I don't know if that's just because of this particular type of crowd is going to these shows and they know what dubstep is and they like dubstep, but it just seems that way. So yeah, that was the PEEKABOO, Brightside, VCTRE, and BoHemian show in Orlando from Friday, October 19th. So it was a good show.
Mm-hmm.
Good show. I left early, sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, PEEKABOO's got some good music, though. Definitely worth a look as far as his SoundCloud or his Spotify. It's very bassy music. Very low frequency bassy music. Yeah, that's how I would describe it. Cool brand though, like that. So yeah, that was the PEEKABOO show. Good show. I think there were several. I think Brightside and VCTRE both played several drum and bass songs, which I feel like we don't give drum and bass enough credit on this show. You're not really a drum and bass fan, are you?
Not really. That's what I was going to say. Well, I think it's due to me because I don't really care for drum and bass.
You don't like drum and bass live, or you don't like to listen to drum and bass, period?
Well, okay. Drum and bass live, I think, is way different than just listening to it, on, SoundCloud or whatever. So, I'm saying, I don't go out of my way just to listen to drum and bass whenever I'm listening to music. Now, if it just so happens to come up, if we're seeing a live set and it just so happens to come up, then yeah, I mean, I'm all up for, listening to drum and bass live.
Okay.
But not like, 24/7 drum and bass. Like, a drum and bass song here and there. It's just, I mean, I don't like drum and bass as much as I do dubstep, trap, future bass.
Well, I have to admit,
the slower BPM kind of beats.
Well, I have to admit that when I first got into EDM and bass music, I was listening to more drum and bass then than I am now. And I don't know if that's because of the way that I find new music. Like maybe, because the way I find new music is I just basically listen to everything that's being posted and reposted for all the artists that I follow on SoundCloud. That's how I find new music. And maybe they're just not posting any drum and bass. Could be the case. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like drum and bass. I do think that there's a time and place for it. Like, I'm not a huge fan of going to a drum and bass concert, because we have been to one or two, and like we went to one where they were opening for a dubstep artist, and I mean it was okay. It just it wasn't as good. There's just something about dubstep music live. It's just the perfect speed. I don't know.
Yes, Evan, you are right. It is the perfect speed for dancing. It is the perfect speed for like almost any kind of electronic song, in my opinion.
Yeah, but that's actually technically not true though, because isn't house music, which is like 130 BPM, is technically considered perfect dancing music speed?
Yeah, if you just want to like, I guess bounce up and down. But like if you want to whatever. You can do whatever you want. You can listen to whatever kind of music you want. I'm just saying the 140, whatever BPM, around that range. It's about the best BPM that you can get for any kind of electronic music song.
Well, speaking of BPM, I used the Web of Redx Twitter to tweet to Lil Texas and ask him to make speedcore a EDM genre that was like the normal EDM genre, and he did tweet back to us, and he said that he's got some stuff in the woodwork. So Lil Texas could be making speedcore a thing, could be making speedcore mainstream EDM.
I am ready to hear it.
Speedcore, I can't believe that's a thing. Like, I really, really want to love speedcore, but it's just like
it's so fast.
It's just like ridiculous. It's just like ridiculous. It's just insane.
I mean, yeah.
It's almost a joke.
Yeah.
I don't want to call it a joke, but it's almost a joke.
Yeah.
But I mean, if there's fans out there that like it, then they'll make it. So, yeah, that was the PEEKABOO show. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to cover. I don't think there was. Cool venue though. I think I said that.
Okay, so let's kind of rate this venue. Okay, so comparing it to what, in our opinion, so whenever we go to raves in Orlando, we always try to stay away from Guilt. Now, if you're in the Orlando area and you know Guilt, I mean, usually the bigger names go to Guilt because I think it's the most well-known, would you say, venue?
Well, I think it's the most inviting.
Okay.
To EDM artists.
Okay, so in mine and Evan's opinion, that is probably one of the worst venues to go to. Not location-wise where we are in Orlando, but it's just the way that the venue is designed. It's not good because from the stage to the back of the room, it's I don't know, give it 25 to 30 yards. I don't know.
Yeah, that's literally what I was going to say, about 30, 40 yards.
30, 40 yards from the back of the stage to the back of the venue. And then from the left side of the venue all the way to the right side of the venue, it's like
a football field.
It's like 50 yards. It's like a hot dog. If you kind of get what I'm saying.
Like a normal good indoor venue is basically the shape of a rectangle. Just like picture a perfect rectangle. That's what a good normal indoor venue should be like. This venue we're talking about is a rectangle, except take both of the sides of the rectangle and stretch them out. Like an extra, 30% or so.
And yeah, we get it that the overall, I guess, the stage design. I mean, it's cool because you have your disco ball, you have the CO2, and then you have the two, I think it's 3 big screens for the main DJ or whatever. But just the overall venue, how it's laid out, it's just for a rave, it's too cramped. It's not good, I think.
Well, that venue will never be able to have an Excision play there, because Excision's got a huge stage production that's his own, and this specific nightclub is only it's mostly for just DJs coming through that just need a place to play.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think it's just very inviting to all the EDM DJs, because every time we go, it's packed, if not sold out. Yeah. So I would say it's just inviting. And of course, another reason that I don't like it is just because it's the farthest venue away from where I live.
Yeah.
So that might be kind of a, not really fair judgment, but still. Plus, you have to pay to park there. When I went this past Friday, I did not have to pay. I parked in a AutoZone parking lot and just walked down. Had no issues. It was great. I actually called the venue beforehand. I was like, do you have to pay for park? Because I actually had no cash. I only had my card. So I was praying that I didn't have to, run to an ATM and get some cash or something. Mm-hmm. But luckily, the guy told me, he was like, park 1 block down at an AutoZone and then just walk down. And that's what I did. And it's actually what about maybe 50 other cars did. And it worked fine for me.
Okay. Would you still say that the venue that you went to, was it better than Guild?
Better as in the overall experience?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. This place had other things to do. You could go outside and talk to the vendors or talk to someone doing art. There was even a lady. There was a couple of different artists that were painting pictures, while the music was being played. This is more of a cooler venue than Guild. Guild is just a straight up nightclub. Yeah. This is more of a art center that just happened to be playing dubstep.
Okay.
So I would say this is a cooler place. But I mean, the bigger names are going to go to the different nightclubs because they're bigger. I mean, this place could only hold about maybe 400 or 500 people, I would say.
Right. Okay. Well, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, on the venue, compared it to some of the other venues that we've been to.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Alex.
You're welcome, Evan.
Okay, do we want to get into this DJ Top 100 ordeal?
Yeah, we can.
Did you see any of the tweets that were being put out there by Jaws and stuff?
Oh yeah, I've seen most of the tweets.
Bear Grylls, Bear Grylls and Jaws are both tweeting about this.
Yeah.
So DJMag is apparently a DJ magazine, or maybe it's just a website, DJMag.com.
Mm-hmm.
They apparently do this top 100 DJs every year, I guess. And so they just released their 2018 list. And honestly, it's like they just took the big names and just put them in order, like biggest names.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I mean,
I don't even know if we should even go through the list, but honestly, there's some of these I've never even heard of.
There's a lot on here. Now, I don't know if this is because I just never really listened to big names. I just listened to, specifically, bass music. But like, I mean, I would say about maybe a little under, like a tiny bit under half of these I have heard, and a little bit over half of these I have not heard of. Possibly.
I mean, I'm looking at the list right now. There's several I've never even heard of, and I think it's because they're more. Maybe it's because they're more mainstream house, like
maybe
house party music, club music.
Maybe.
Like Richie Houghton, no idea who that is, and he's 2 down from Deadmau5. So basically, long story short, there's several bass music DJs that were kind of. Oh, Chami's on here. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Chami's on here.
I think Bear Grylls. Well, I saw Jaws tweeting about it first, and he was just talking about how it was a joke that, like, I forgot what he said, but he said there was like one certain DJ that should have been way ahead of another one. Of course, they've got Marshmello at number 10 because Marshmello is like the most popular person on the planet now. All of a sudden.
Well, he was also another major artist to talk about this. Did you see that?
I did see that, actually. Like,
yeah, Marshmello definitely talked about this.
Where is Bass Nectar on this list? Like, if you're gonna make a list of top 100 DJs, how do you not have Bass Nectar on this list?
Are you only going by the amount of followers they have, or are you going by the overall amount of popularity for their music or their fan base, or what? Like, how do you determine this?
There is literally no information on that. I think they just decided this. Cashmere's on here. Cashmere's a great DJ. Is he better than Bass Nectar? No, sorry. Bass Nectar's not even on this list, and Cashmere's number 18.
Yeah, like, okay, Evan, would you say that Nightmare is better than Bass Nectar?
No.
Nightmare's on this list. Would you say that Slander is better than Bass Nectar?
Although Slander does have a great live show.
Yeah. Don't get us wrong. We like Nightmare and Slander, but like if we're trying to compare, the overall, like music wise, fan base wise, following wise, Bass Nectar is a lot bigger than most of these DJs, in my opinion.
Like, okay, are you looking at the list right now?
Yeah, I'm looking at the list right now.
Who's DJ L? Number 84, right after Nightmare?
I have no idea.
DJ L. I'm sorry if we have DJ L fans out here. Never heard of DJ L.
Yeah, never heard of DJ L or like 94, like Bobina?
Never heard of Bobina. Never heard of her.
I want to say, have you heard of Andy C, the guy above him?
Yeah, he's a drum and bass guy.
Okay, that's what I thought. And then I've definitely heard of, going back up the list, I've heard of the Tweakers, because they're drum and bass, right?
I've actually never heard of the Tweakers.
Yeah, I think because I was like watching like the EDC Las Vegas live stream, and I think they were on the drum and bass set, I'm pretty sure. And so was number 65, Miss Kate. I think she's also a big name in the drum and bass community.
Never heard of her.
Yeah, she was on the live stream that I saw. But yeah, before I saw the live stream, I've never heard of them.
Wait,
mainly because I don't listen to drum and bass. But
what live stream are you talking about?
The EDC Las Vegas live stream. I think it was from last year, not 2018, okay. 2017, I think. But yeah, that's how I only know like Miss Kate and the Tweakers. But yeah, like I said, like probably mostly about half of these I never heard of.
They've got Dubs at number 16. I haven't heard anything from Dubs in like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
They've got W and W at number 14. Never mind. No, we didn't see W and W. Never mind.
Yeah, no,
we've got Avicii at number 15. Which I guess that's kind of a tribute since Avicii's passed away. But if you're trying to make a tribute to Avicii, wouldn't you have him at number 1?
I don't know how they determine all this stuff. Like,
does it surprise you that Martin Garrix is number 1 though?
Honestly, I don't know, because I guess he just recently came out with an album. I don't really follow Martin Garrix, at all, but I know we're going to be seeing him at ADC this year. But is it because he just like recently dropped a new album? I guess I don't really know.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know.
But like the top 10 are all.
It's all pop house.
It's
people.
all the big names that you will see at it's all headliners that you would see at festivals.
Yeah. No, I'll do you one better. It's headliners that you would see at almost any festival.
Yeah.
Like you could see most of these people headlining Coachella.
Oh yeah.
I like who is. Never heard of Angerfist. Never heard of Vinay. I don't think I've ever even heard of number 13, Alok.
Yeah, like Alok or
Alok.
Yeah,
Felix is number 21, but what has he done? Like this year?
I want to say
he did Chicken Soup. Was that this year?
Oh, that was with Jack U, right?
I don't
Jack
think so.
U
I think
was
I think Chicken Soup was this year. I think it was just him.
Oh, that's right. Okay, sorry, I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, like I know Jaws tweeted about it. Bear Grylls said Jaws deserved to be on the list. Which,
yeah.
You know, I mean, like we saw Jaws. Jaws had a great live show, but again, we don't know if this is talking about, you know, fan base or popularity online or popularity at shows. Like the Chainsmokers is 31. I mean, it's like no one is really agreeing with the list, and on top of that, the list doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, it's just you want to know how they come to their conclusions. Like, how do they conclude that? Like, if you're not looking at the list right now, it says like for the Chainsmokers, they're number 31 on the list for 2018, and it says under their name, it says down 25. So how do they determine that they go down 25 spots from last year?
Yeah, they need to do better next year.
Yeah, like
Calvin Harris is number 40. Zed is number 44. I mean, Zed, Calvin Harris, and Chainsmokers are three of the hottest names.
I mean, when we saw Zed, when we saw Zed, like, don't get me wrong, I thought Zed's live show was great.
It was a very good show.
It was a really good live show, but like, I don't know, maybe in my opinion, some of these should be in the right spots. Like, I don't know, maybe you could have Zed up a little bit higher than 44. But like, it's just, I don't understand how they get some of these artists to these spots is what I'm just trying to figure out.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. Like Zed, they've got Steve Aoki in front of Zed and the Chainsmokers by like 20, 30 places. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
All right, are we done ranting on this?
I mean, yeah. I mean, this is all we can talk about. Is just how in the world do you come up to the conclusion of where to place all these DJs? I mean, all these DJs / groups.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like they just kind of like whipped up the list real quick and said, "Yep, here it is."
Yeah.
But I don't know. I honestly wouldn't have even known about it if I didn't like see tweets about it.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of the DJ Top 100 Mag before. I just never really, gone on my way to like look at the list. But every year that I've seen DJs talk about it. Ooh, sorry. I've seen
DJs what?
DJs talk about it.
Talk about it.
I don't know. Maybe it's kind of somewhat interested me, but not too much. But then, like, when they started talking about it this year, it made me, kind of a little bit more interested into what's really going on. But yeah, it just seems fishy on how they're coming up with with
the ordering.
Yeah, with the ordering. It's just
I don't know if it's fishy to me. It just doesn't make any sense. All that being said, though, I was thinking out loud the other day, because if we're looking at this and all basically the entire EDM community doesn't like how this list turned out. There was one tweet, I think it was either from Jaws or Bear Grylls, I forgot which one, but they were talking about how they should do a list that's like upcoming DJs that you need to start listening to, kind of like to help the lesser known names.
Yeah. If they did a list like that, then that's what probably would be the main.
That'd be way more interesting.
Yeah, that would be
like we already know who's at the top. Show us who's going to be at the top in 5 years. So that got me thinking, like, why don't we do something like that? Like, what if we compiled a list and came up with a list of, like, 25, 50 DJs that, like, a list of 25 or 50 DJs that you should be listening to now that have less than 25,000 followers on SoundCloud or something like that?
Yeah.
Like, what if we did something like that?
I mean, yeah, that'd be great.
I don't know, just something to think about. Because, again, like the whole idea of like the EDM community is it's kind of centered around the fact that almost anybody could get a laptop and start making music and make it great. If it sounds good, then people are going to listen to it. And if it sounds good, then you can become popular. But like part of the whole problem of making music and being a lesser known name nowadays is that there's so many people trying to do it, and so the hard part is getting your name out there. Which is why like a big list like this that has a lot of publicity and a lot of people talking about it would have been a whole lot more beneficial if they had done something like what we said, or like what Jaws or Bear Grylls or whoever tweeted. Do a list that's got a bunch of names that are, lesser known artists that could actually use the publicity and could actually benefit from being on a list like this.
Mm-hmm.
Timmy Trumpet is on this list, and he's one that's at EDC Orlando this year, I think, and he actually plays the trumpet while he DJs.
Really? Oh,
to see
yeah,
him.
I think I've seen that before.
It's kind of cool. It's unique.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the DJMag Top 100, and I think we should do something like that. I think maybe later on down the line we can come up with a like top 50. I don't know, 50 is a lot. We can do 50, maybe 25. Top 50 or 25 lesser known DJs that have less than 30,000 followers on SoundCloud that you should be listening to right now. That would be the name of the award. The top list, the top 25 or 50 list.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, just something to think about. I think they did I didn't really get a chance to look at it. They did I think they did a poll on Reddit, on like the EDM Reddit, EDM subreddit, and they did basically another top 100, but then they did it where actual users voted, and it was, way different.
Mm-hmm.
I think Martin Garrix was still number 1, but then I think Illenium was number 2, which, by the way, where's Illenium on this list? Illenium has, blown up over the past 2 or 3 years. So, yeah, I don't know, it seems a little biased, maybe. Or maybe that they just kind of graded it too quickly, so. That might just about do it for this episode. Alex, anything else that you would like to discuss?
No, just those 2 topics.
All right, then. Everyone take care and have a good night.
See you guys next time.